Hello, my name's Cameron and I'm the director and a producer on a piece called Status, which is real life stories about stigma. About nearly 12 months ago, we started interviewing people predominantly that are either HIV positive or medical professionals and people that live or are associated with HIV in Melbourne to talk about their experiences of stigma in 2014.
My name is Michelle Barber and I'm one of the executive producers of Status, ThePlay. Status, ThePlay is about people living with and associated with people living with HIV and AIDS. But for us, the focus of the play has not just been about the amazing stories, the emotional stories that we've heard, but it's to us the thread of stigma that runs all the way through. Stigma has been horrendous and we have experienced it personally in various parts of our lives, as well as hearing it in these stories.
My name's Stephen Barber. I'm an executive producer with the Status Consortium. What does stigma mean to me? Stigma is a tool that we use as human beings to categorise people, prejudge and preconceive our ideas around who they are or what they should be. It takes on many forms. I'm very proud to be a part of the project Status, just purely and simply because I believe that the whole prejudged and preconceived idea around HIV and stigma is just one that we need to start talking about.
So for me, stigma is terrifying. It's terrifying for me because of how I think I might be judged for having a gay son. It's terrifying for me because of how I think he might be judged. It's terrifying for me to know that he might lose a job or not get a job because he's gay.
We all know that HIV is now a manageable chronic disease, but we don't talk about it. We actually find that people hide away. People are actually 8 times more likely to commit suicide, people who are diagnosed with HIV, or they can become a recluse.
It's been very interesting and talking to a lot of different people and taking the idea that stigma and HIV is really about a human responsibility and not necessarily a sexuality issue. So we've taken HIV and stigma on a very global look. And even though some people may not initially associate with HIV and stigma, I feel like it's for everyone in that we all in some ways have experienced stigma in our lives, and you know in varying degrees. It's always part of our life.
It's not just about HIV, it's about stigma, the word, how it impacts on us, how we actually use it, whether it be somebody's sexuality, somebody's body shape or form, whether they're transgender. We actually use stigma to preconceive ideas, and we pass that stigma and those preconceived ideas on to other people.
I feel that if I talk about it and discuss it at every possible opportunity without wanting to stand on a soapbox, without wanting to shout people down, without wanting to make people feel bad about what they think, but if I have an opportunity to make them understand what it feels like to have received stigma, or to understand what it's like to be on the receiving end of stigma, then I think that then I'm halfway toward maybe changing it, or maybe even a tiny way towards changing people's attitudes towards stigma.
Really the joy of this piece called Status is that we want to start the discussion on stigma and see what happens and what comes from it, and we're not even sure if we are able to beat stigma, but we definitely know we're going to be starting a discussion about this piece.
I hope that eventually we will be able to make a huge dent in the horrendous nature of stigma.